Duke Nukem cannot ejaculate. A thread, part 1 of Unknown. Duke Nukem is arguably one of the biggest icons for toxic masculinity in the history of video games, and probably media at large. He's tough, he's macho, he's got balls of steel, something which he reminds us of constantly. Why is that, do you think? Let's look at the evidence. In the opening scene of Duke Nukem Forever, Duke Nukem gets a blowjob from these two women, who are described by their Wikipedia page as Duke's two live-in pop star girlfriends, all whilst he's playing his own video game. Classy. One of the girls asks, "Was that good for you, Duke?" To which he responds, "It better be. I've been waiting 15 fucking years for this." Obviously referring to the game. He's using humor to deflect attention away from his impotence, because he didn't, and couldn't, nut. Additionally, if we look back at his comic series, Duke Nukem Glorious Bastard, where he goes back in time and kills Hitler or something, the comic opens with him having sex with multiple women. See reference attached. If this never-named woman's claims are true, then Duke Nukem has been having sex constantly for 10 whole hours. The sex has only come to a conclusion since she asked him to stop mid-coitus. It is important to note, Duke Nukem clearly hasn't finished. How must it feel, Duke, to live the life that so many yearn for? You embody the very dream that masculinity seeks to reinforce. Money, power, sex. And yet, do you ever feel satisfied? What use do you have for the half-dozen concubines at your beck and call if not even one can provide you with the baser pleasures you've been taught to strive for your entire life? In every example of Duke performing sex acts, he is never shown to come. He is always interrupted or stopped prematurely. We know that his penis and urethra are entirely functional as well, as Duke Nukem Forever opens with him pissing into a urinal, a function which he and the player have direct control over. If we think about everything Duke Nukem stands for, it's a hyper-macho, egotistical parody of traditional and toxic masculinity. He kicks ass, he chews bubblegum, he lets you know how much he fucks, constantly. But why? Why you, Duke? Monuments to your image are erected across the nation. More than a man, you are a symbol, an ideal. Rightly or wrongly, you are the man so many will strive to be. They think of you a god, but less than that, they think of you complete. They tell themselves they cannot be satisfied until they are as strong as Duke, as beloved as Duke, as sexually competent as Duke. Do you see yourself in the same light, Mr. Nukem? Do you see yourself at all? Do you compare yourself to the man in the mirror or the effigy of gold built by the hands that idolize you? How then could you see yourself even as human? And how then could you permit yourself to even the basest pleasures of which humanity provides? Could it be that his ego and macho appearance is simply just a facade? Does he constantly talk about how much he fucks to make people think that he's the best at sex when he in fact knows he struggles with it? Instead of confronting his fears, does he simply let them define him? Inside his macho facade, Duke is vulnerable, fragile. He doesn't want anybody to know about his impotence, so he tries so desperately to make you think he nuts. Perhaps the phrase, balls of steel, is simply a reference to his cold, desolate, downstairs jizz factory. Duke Nukem, you are undeniably a symbol of sex incarnate, a Western dream of machismo and might, wealth and war. But who are you? Beneath the ego and the tank top stained with the blood of humanity's oppressors, who are you? What drives you to inflict such pain? Is it the closest thing you feel to pleasure? Have you any concept of the difference between them? Do you charge headlong into danger because you crave the sweet release of death? The only sweet release you believe is available to you after all these years? Truly, we only know one thing for certain. Duke Nukem is a more complex character than anybody, even Gearbox Software, gives him credit for. If we move away from the surface-level imagery of Duke and start questioning why he is the man he is, we can see his true face. A vulnerable man who can't come